Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Today we gather here for a story that is not only heartbreaking, but one that reminds us just how fragile life can be, no matter who we are, no matter how brightly our light shines in the public eye. Big, sad news has struck, and for Kelly&Ripa, America's beloved morning television host, the news has brought her to tears. It's about her partner in life, Mark Consuelos, the man who has stood by her side for decades. Now, when we say devastating health update, it isn't something we say lightly. And for Kelly, this moment has become a turning point, both for her family and for the millions of fans who have followed their journey through laughter, love, and now this moment of vulnerability. But before we uncover what's truly happening behind the scenes, I need you to stay with me until the end, because what starts in sorrow may just surprise you with hope. Yes, there's more to this story than meets the eye. The beginning of Kelly and Mark's love story. To understand why this moment has shaken Kelly to her core, we need to go back in time. Picture the 1990s. A young Kelly&Ripa, vibrant, full of energy, starring on All My Children. Enter Mark Consuelos, the striking, passionate newcomer. What started as on-screen chemistry quickly blossomed into something that would last decades. Their love story wasn't scripted, it was real, raw, and built on a foundation of trust and laughter. And for years, fans have admired them not only as entertainers, but as a couple that stood the test of time. Through career highs, raising 3 children, and navigating the unpredictable tides of fame, they became more than celebrities. They became role models. But what happens when a seemingly unshakable bond is tested by something as unpredictable as health? What happens when the laughter that once filled a home turns into hushed whispers of worry in the middle of the night? The whisper of concern. It began quietly. Mark, always full of energy, the man who could light up a room with his charm, started slowing down. At first, it was easy to dismiss. Who among us hasn't felt the weight of age creeping in? But Kelly noticed. A wince here, a pause there, a night when exhaustion came earlier than expected. For a couple used to balancing careers and family with tireless energy, these subtle changes were alarming. Kelly would later admit, in private, that she couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. And this is where the story turns, because sometimes it's the smallest sign, the quietest whisper, that signals a storm ahead. The diagnosis. Doctors were consulted, tests were run, and then the words came, the kind of words that change everything. For Kelly, hearing them felt like the air had been pulled from her lungs. This wasn't just about Mark's health, it was about the future they had dreamed of, the moments still left unwritten, the milestones they had yet to celebrate. She wept, not just as a wife, but as a woman who had built her life around the man she adored. And in those tears, America saw something we rarely see from our icons: vulnerability. But here's where the cliffhanger comes in, because while the diagnosis was devastating, what came after may be even more surprising. Family at the core. Kelly and Mark have always placed family at the center of their lives. Their children, Michael, Lola, and Joaquin, are their pride and joy. And as the health update settled in, it was these children who rose up in strength. Imagine the weight of watching your father face uncertainty. Imagine the courage it takes for young adults to hold their mother's hand and tell her, "We'll get through this together." That's exactly what happened. The Ripa Consuelos family turned inward, creating a circle of support, a wall of love. But behind closed doors, Kelly still struggled. She still cried when no one was looking. Because even the strongest among us break when we fear losing the person we love most. Yet, in that breaking, something else began to emerge. A resilience, a determination to fight alongside Mark, no matter how long or difficult the road ahead would be. Fans begin to notice. And here's where the story expands beyond the family. For years, Kelly has been a daily presence in millions of households. Viewers notice when her smile is a little thinner, when her laugh carries a weight behind it. They started asking questions. Is something wrong? Why does Kelly seem different? The truth is, Kelly carried her pain quietly, professionally, but the human heart is not so easily hidden. And soon, whispers turned into headlines, and headlines turned into a tidal wave of concern. Fans flooded social media with messages of love and support. People who had never met Mark or Kelly suddenly felt the weight of their journey. Why? Because illness doesn't just affect celebrities, it affects all of us. And in their struggle, people saw their own stories, their own fears reflected back. Kelly's breaking point. Every strong person has a breaking point. And for Kelly, it came one quiet evening. She shared with close friends that she could no longer pretend everything was fine. Her tears flowed, not in front of cameras, not on a stage, but in the intimacy of her home. Mark, ever the protector, held her and whispered, "We'll get through this together." Imagine that. The man fighting for his own health, comforting the woman who loves him most. That's the kind of love that inspires, even in heartbreak. But here's the twist. Kelly's tears weren't just about fear. They were also about gratitude, too. Gratitude that she had this man to fight for. Gratitude for the family they built. Gratitude for the years already shared. And that gratitude became a source of strength. The public revelation. Eventually, Kelly couldn't keep it inside any longer. She opened up publicly, with raw honesty, about Mark's health. And in doing so, she transformed her private sorrow into a collective moment of connection. She spoke about the challenges, the uncertainty, but also about love, the kind of love that carries you through the darkest nights. And as she spoke, tears welled in her eyes, and millions felt them as their own. That moment of truth wasn't just about celebrity news. It was about the courage to be human in front of the entire world. To be continued. And yet, my friends, this is only the beginning, because what happens next in Kelly and Mark's journey will leave you stunned. There are turns in this story you don't see coming. Hope, heartbreak, resilience, it's all still to unfold. So stay with me, because the next chapter may just change the way you see not only Kelly and Mark, but the very way we think about love, loss, and the fight for tomorrow. If you've been moved by this story, please subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell so you don't miss future updates on Mark Consuelos and other important stories. And in the comments below, share your messages of love and encouragement from Mark and Kelly.